Hey, what's going on guys? This is Coco2264 here bringing you another video. Now today I'm doing a Scratch tutorial, and I know people might have thought I'm not going to do another one, but yes I am. I know it's been a while since I've done one, but I've just been busy. There's nothing else to it. Um, so yeah, but I am bringing you another Scratch tutorial. Now, I'm still doing it in the offline editor. I just think it's well, I'd just prefer to do it here. And as you can see, I started a completely new project. I have done absolutely nothing ahead of time for some of this stuff, or for any of this. Well, like I have practice from beforehand, but I just haven't done this specific thing yet. So the main thing I like to do in Scratch is data manipulation. So moving stuff around, doing stuff to certain characters, and just manipulating the data. So what I usually do is whenever I start a new project, I usually go in here and make a variable called A. And what I use A for is just my all-around variable for counting. Now this might not make sense, so we could say, it might not make sense in the beginning, so we could just say word. So set A to 0, the counting variable, so A setting being a counting variable might not make sense, but it will later on. So what I'm going to do is ask word and wait, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull out an answer, and I'm going to take out a repeat length of answer. Now, if you don't know what this could mean, it would be, so say we click, let's change it by one. So say we click start, and then we do type in 5 characters like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, so that's 5 H's right there. You'll see that A will be set to 5 because a simpler way you could do this is set A to length of answer. So we could do again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 H's, and it'll do that again. It'll do that again. But we want it to repeat the length of the answer, so it will run this script within this yellow block 5 times. I'm going to go and make a list. I'm just going to call it list for there's no meaning to the name, and I'm going to make sure to put a delete all of list when start clicked at the beginning of my script. And I'm just going to do add letter A of answer to list. Now what this does is, so if you don't know, letter number of a string would output whatever number this is, character of that. So in this case, letter 1 overrolled is W, but if we say letter 2 of W, it would be an O, and 3 is an R, and so on and so forth. So what we can do with that is if we put a variable in the number bit, and then so we put a number in the variable bit, and then we're constantly changing that by 1 of the answer. So if we respond with the 5 H's, then each of the characters would be like this. So that would be like saying, so if we just put that there, oh no, I didn't mean to click that. So in this case, it would add letter A of your answer. In this case, I'm just going to keep it as the 5 H's. And so basically, each time we change A by 1, that's a new value to add onto the list. Let me go ahead and show you. So if our word is the 5 H's, so then it's going to add the 5 H's. But if we can put the answer block back in there, and so that will report the answer. We can do hello, and now this will place each individual character of hello in there, HELLO, because it's changing A by 1, and then so basically putting the next letter into the list. So we can kind of do this slower. If we just put wait 1 second, blocks in there. So hello, and then you can see it changes A by 1 and then A by 2, and it reports that letter of the answer. Now if you already knew this, then congratulations, but I am going to be doing a very slow tutorial. So once we have all of this, we are going to want to maybe sit back and think for a bit. Well, we might want to think, how do we want our project to work? We're going to want to think, well, first of all, what are we trying to accomplish? In my case, I'm trying to reverse what is given into the input. So say you input hello, I want it to output hello backwards, so O-L-L-E-H. I just want it to do that. So there are a couple ways I'm thinking we could go about this. One way is joining these letters by moving the E to right here in front of the H, the L in front of that, the L in front of that, and the O in front of that, so it makes the letters. There are some other methods that I'm thinking of that I have done in different projects, but I'm just going to be doing this quite simply for the sake of the tutorial. So now I'm going to set A to 0, because after I'm done with this, A is now equal to 5, and I don't want it to be equal to 5, I want A to reset. So I'm going to set A to 0, and then I'm going to repeat length of list. Now you may be thinking, well, I could just go over to the operators and get length of list. Shouldn't that be the same thing? Well, the problem is it's not. So this length of list is pretty much that value. So this will output a 5, but this one finds the length of all those characters combined. So basically each of these items combined. So if we put a couple spaces in there, or we can put, then now length of list is greater because it's compiling the length of this, and then the length of this, and the length of this, and length of that, and length of that. But we don't want that, we just want the actual length of the list, so how many items are in the list. So that's why we can't use that. So we're going to repeat length of list, change A by 1 because we want to target this value, and then this value once we're done manipulating it. So I'm going to replace item 1 because I want to replace this with join, let's see, join item 1. No, I want this to be in the front. So basically the way you should think about this with the join is it will combine them together. So let's say, I'm going to go ahead and go into, so in this case let's say we have an H, and then we can have a B, C, D, E. Well, this will just combine them together, and it will do so in the order that you do them. So if we do the A, B, C, D, E right here, and the H, I said H right here, then it will put the A, B, C, D, E in the front. And so we want this to our advantage because we want to put the H in the front instead of being in the back where you would read it. So we're going to put it in the front, and then item A of list. And let's go and test it out. So we can do hello, and okay. So when we see a problem like this, there are several things we can do. And yes, this problem is genuine. I am doing this project for the first time ever. So this sort of project for the first time ever, like flipping a word. So my reaction is entirely genuine, and I want your reaction to be the same as mine. That's the purpose of these tutorials. So there are a couple things I'm thinking we can do with this, because this is close to what we want, but not necessarily. What we ideally want is for there to be nothing here and this to be the output. And we can either A, fix this script by finding an entirely different way to go about doing this, or we can B, manipulate the data we already have. So in this case, let's go and do that again. So this is what we've got. Now what I want to do first is get rid of all this extra stuff because we don't need that anymore, and I don't want that. So I'm going to set A to 0 and then repeat length of list delete one of list. Now there are a couple problems because if we were to do this right now, it would delete the entire list, and we don't want that. So actually we don't need that. So let's go and put this back. So if we were to just keep this like this, we want to keep item 1, but we want to get rid of everything else. So what I'm going to do is subtract 1 on this and delete 2. And now if we try this, it deletes the rest. And let me explain. So we know that it has a length of 5. This current data that we have right here, we want it to be a length of 1 right here. And so 5 minus 1 is 4, and we want the output to be a 1. So we're going to get rid of 4 things right here. So we're going to want to repeat 4. And that's why we subtract the length of list minus 1, because the length is 5 and we want to keep 1, so we're going to delete 4 items instead of 5. And then since we're deleting item 2 of list, that would delete E. And then now that that's gone, since it already deleted item 2, we're going to delete item 2 again. Now is the second time, and then third, fourth, and now we're done. That's the script done. Now that this is over, what we can do is now we want to get rid of this extra H. Now there is a way I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make a new variable called temp, and temp I'm just going to call a string variable. This is something that I'm going to be using for joining stuff together. Now for temp, this can be very particular with the way I'm doing it, so I need to click backspace in here so that when I click in here there should only be this little blue square, and there should be absolutely nothing here, so that when we set, it should just be a blank square. There should be no spaces. We don't want spaces because that's not good. We want it to be completely blank, so just click on the inside and click backspace and you're good. Then you can drag that there, and we're going to set A to 0 again. Now that we have this and we have temp is 0, there are some cool things that you can pick up along the way. So what I'm going to do is repeat length of item 1 of list. Now this is 6, and let me explain. So item 1 of list is this because it's item 1 of list. And then we are finding the length of this, which is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to make it 5. But so we have the length of the item 1 of list, and what we can do with that is we can put it in there. But what I'm going to do is just like we did for the deleting, I'm just going to subtract 1 because we're trying to exclude a character in here, but this one time it's on the end. So we're trying to exclude that H, so we just get this as the output. So this is what we have so far. So we're going to repeat length of item 1 of list minus 1, which is going to be 5. So it's going to go 1, 2, actually, I'm going to, and then change A by 1. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Then we want to set temp to join temp and then letter A of item 1 of list. Now what this will do, this is pretty complicated, so I'm going to take this step by step actually. I'm going to pull this out of here and take this step by step. So we already have where we are, so if we type in hello it gets us this, but now what we want to do is get these 5 characters without this H right here. No, I can't select that one H, but just get rid of that one H on the end, that straggler, because that wasn't part of the bit, and that was just there from when we were, from when we had spread out the characters. So what we want to do is we want to compile the rest of these characters into their own string, excluding this last H. So a way we can do that is, since we set the temp to blank, absolutely nothing, this can work in the beginning, but set temp to join what is already there. So say we have an O and an L, it would set temp to join what's already there, and then along with the next character. So we can see this in action. So if we click this once, it just has an O. Since temp was already blank, and we are joining item 1 of item, or character 1 of item 1 of list. And then we're doing it again, and now it's OL because, and then we can do this until we have our desired thing, which is OLLEH, which is hello backwards, and that is what temp is equal to. And so we can put our repeat block, or repeating block, back around that, and then I'm just gonna do replace item 1 with temp. And so now what we should see is if we type in hello, it gives us hello backwards, and this should work for anything we type in, like hey there, and this is hey there backwards. And what we can do is copy that and then paste it in again, and it'll show us it forwards. So this is pretty cool, but a lot of you might not have understood that because I did go a tad bit fast. So I'm going to explain it with a very, a thorough explanation. So in the beginning, we want to delete all of the list, because if we have things in the list, so say we have that in the list and we don't have the delete, well, that's going to mess up our data when we start. So we could do hello, but that's going to mess up our data, see? So we want to get rid of everything that we already have and delete all of list and set A to 0, because we don't want A messing up, like from the previous run, messing up what we just did or what we're doing now. So that's where we reset those. Then the ask is just to define the answer, or also just to find out what the user wants to reverse. So then we're going to repeat the length of their answer, which is how many characters are in their answer. So if we typed in hello, that would give an output of 5, this right here, and in which it does. So we're going to change A by 1. Now the reason we change A by 1 is for each time we repeat, which is 5, which is the amount of characters, because we're individually selecting each character, we're going to add that character that it has selected to our list, so that they're all separated by spacings in the list. So I'm going to get rid of the rest of this, and we can type in hello, and you can see that it separates by each character. Now, this is basically, we are replacing. Now if you don't know about these functions for the list, then I highly suggest learning them because it's very helpful. So then we're resetting A because we don't want A to mess up what we're doing right now, and we're repeating length of list. Now what we could do is also put a length of answer, because these two are both equivalent. But I just prefer to use the length of the list because, well, you could use whatever. I can put that in there for now. And so we're going to change A by 1, again, individually selecting not the characters of the answer, but instead the separate items on the list. And now that we have that, so I am just going to do this once. So set A to 0, and so we're going to change A by 1 and replace item 1, and this is why we're getting the straggler. Replace item 1, which is this, with join item A of list. So when we start we change A by 1. And we could, in theory, if you wanted to, set A to 1 in the beginning, and this would get rid of that extra problem of not needing the this script. We wouldn't need that. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, we wouldn't need that if we just say A to 1 in there. So it really goes to show you, and I didn't even notice that beforehand while I was actually doing this, and that goes to show you it's a good idea to go back through your scripts because you can find something that you didn't notice before and make them a little bit more compact, a little bit more efficient, and you don't even need this. So we can delete temp because we don't need that anymore. Actually, right, we don't need this either because it will still work. And so that's pretty awesome because we just saved ourselves an entire script we can delete. And so now we have this short little script just to reverse this, and that's much more efficient because it's less processes. Um, so yeah, and I just now realized that. I'm sorry for the people who are in a big tutorial, but it's not too big of a deal. It's not a game changer or whatever. But then so we have all these different characters there. So I'm gonna get rid of that. So now we know that we have this because it's just compiled all the letters here, like move the E to there, the L to there, L, and then the O. But now we have these, which is where we got the data from. And we don't want those there anymore. So we're just gonna get rid of them. And so think about it in your head. We want to delete item 2 of the list. Well, once we delete item 2, item 3 will move up to 2. So now item 2 or item previously item 3 has moved down or up to item 2 since item 2, the previous item 2, has been deleted. So we don't have to change any variables or make any variables because we are all good. So we can just repeat length of the list -1 because we don't want to do extra stuff, and then delete item 2 of the list. And it's simple as that. And there is your answer right here. So that's hello backwards, and we can do all sorts of stuff like, comment, and oh, I can't type today. Subscribe. And this will take a little bit, but it still looks cool. And this is that like, comment, subscribe backwards. And we can copy it, paste it, and it will show it forward again. So yeah, and yes, it is possible I could make this even more compact, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm not going to do that right now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see more tutorials, make sure to leave a like on this video, and I will definitely release more. And you may notice that my voice sounds better. That's because I have a better microphone, and I'm also using Camtasia Studio now instead of Windows Movie Maker, so you can definitely expect actual edits and better transitions and all that besides the old like 2000, I don't know, older, not the year 2000 but early 2000 stuff. So yeah, this is definitely an improvement. So like I think it's like 2007, but it's not too big of a deal. Camtasia Studio is much better, and so you can expect a like higher quality videos. Sorry, I can't English today. And so yeah, this was a pretty easy tutorial, I'd say, compared to some of the stuff you can do with advanced data manipulation. But yeah, and some people might get triggered that I didn't do anything with the costumes. I usually don't really care for the costumes. You can just put everything in the stage and it'll all be good. Actually, that's what I'm going to do right now. So now we just have the stage. We don't need any sprites. Sprites are just silly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys all later. Bye bye. Okay everybody, this was the most compact I could get that bulky script to be. So you can see it works the same, and it works much faster. This is as compact as I can make it because I just eliminated the unnecessary things that I did in the tutorial. And I did those things for two reasons. One, mainly because I just wasn't thinking about compacting. I was just mainly thinking about getting it done. And that's usually a very important thing to do, or important thing to remember when you're doing this sort of stuff. Remember, make it work before you make it go fast. Because it's better to make it work than for it to fail but just go fast. So that's definitely a pro tip, I guess you could say. So yeah, enjoy.